Hello and welcome. Hope y'all are doing well today. My name is Dr. Emery Daniel, and this is going to be for the next 5 weeks your class for Persuasion, which is COM 3155. So this is going to be the next 5 weeks in summer 2021, and this will be all about kind of the influences, definition areas, and practical application for persuasion. So I'm really looking forward to this class. This is a lot of fun to be able to not only learn it when I was younger, but also be able to talk about it as your professor. So as stated, my name is Dr. Emery Daniel. I pretty much answer to most of my names here. I've got three first names, unfortunately, and they honestly get mixed up quite a bit. So, but if you want to address me as Emery or Stephen or Dr. Daniel, Dr. Daniel is preferred, but I don't mind either way. So, this is my office hours for when I will be available, but in all honesty, if you want to schedule a Zoom meeting with me at any given point in time, just let me know. For the most part, I work a pretty strict 8 to 5 schedule, but at the same time, I'm usually unavailable from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So that's really the only place I will not be able to meet, but anytime in between then, be sure to, if you need anything individually, feel free to contact me. Although I have a phone number, I don't really use it that often. So my email, this is one of the best places to reach me, is danielles at appstate.edu. And note here that I do not have an S in my last name, but at the same time, Daniel ES is going to be my email. And I stress that a couple times here because I have had a few people receive emails that they shouldn't have based on just having the wrong one. So what I want to go over for this particular course is pretty simple. I just kind of want to do over the syllabi as we've only got one day for this particular class and then kind of show you what the As You Learn looks like. Some of you have already visited that and have already done the About You, and I really appreciate you doing that. And the reflection paper for the first one is up already. But I do want to kind of not put your feet to the fire, so to speak, even though this class will be moving pretty quickly. This is a Monday through Thursday course. So my plan is to give pre-recorded lectures 4 days a week. That's my goal anyway. If I miss one or two, please forgive me. But at the same time, I will give you resources if that doesn't happen. But again, the plan is to make sure that I am recording that content for you to be able to take in and answer questions that you might have, whether it be discussion board or whether it be in a reflection paper or final assignment. I will mention through that, though, you can kind of do all of this on your own time. The main things that I will want you to do is, if you're doing the discussion boards, make sure they're done by the end of the week. And if you are doing reflection papers, just make sure that they are turned in before the due date. I will mention that we've got a fairly big class. I think it's around 25 people. So I will do my best to get grading done as quickly as possible, although this is a fairly large class. So like I said, my goal is to make sure that correspondence is quick and grading is quick, especially for this particular class. So for this particular course, the idea for persuasion here is to kind of get into a little bit of the art and science of what this term is. Often we get a lot of negative connotation for what persuasion is, what it's used for. In fact, a lot of the occupations that involve things like persuasion, salesperson, lawyer, there's a lot of professions out there that don't get the best rep because they are used for something like persuasion. However, as a lot of y'all are public relations and advertising majors, you will need to know how to do this. And you will need to know the constructs that formulate a good, sound argument if you're going to make that for your social media profiles, for any kind of advertising you want to do. And the idea behind this is to gain a grounds of theoretical background, but also be able to use it in a practical application, not only within your career and your business, but also kind of in real life. As I've noted on several occasions, I would find tactics that were used by a car salesperson, and I would sit there and go, I know what you're trying to do in this case. You're trying to use a scarcity tactic. I wouldn't say that out loud, but in this case, you kind of know as the receiver of a message to be able to differentiate this. So these are very important premises to be able to take in and be able to use as building blocks for your profession, to not only use as message strategy that you create, but be able to identify them as well. So that's kind of the goal, to do this and to do so ethically. Because that we get a lot as I'm an advertising professor here, we get a lot of jokes cracked about it. Of anytime we talk about advertising ethics, they're like, "Isn't that an oxymoron?" And I just have to kind of laugh to myself of how persuasive tactics work, and where are some of the fallacies that come into why people believe that. So anyway. Within the requirements, I will have two texts that I will want you to get. First is the Woodward and Denton book, which it's kind of funny. I actually know this guy pretty well. Really, really good professor. And so we'll be talking about their contribution. So make sure to pick up this book. This should be available in the bookstore. I made sure to go in and request it for the semester. Older or newer version, doesn't matter. And then a recommended text that I will be posting online, but if you want to get a hard copy yourself, will be Robert Cialdini's Influence, Science, and Practice. This is a cool, really cool book. It's a very easy read. It's very down to earth. But I think one of my favorite things about this is a professor that said, I just kept getting influenced by things, and I wanted to just take a bunch of odd jobs and see what was it that made these persuasive tactics work. So hold on. Sorry about that. I've been introducing a couple courses today. So we'll go over the course objectives. And honestly, like I said, this is the kind of thing of being able to use this in practice, as well as through theory. You will have, as far as class assignments, 2 reflection papers, which are pretty simple, 2 to 3 pages, which I will tell you right off the bat what they are within a define and a critiqued area. And you can kind of gauge in terms of what you want to do with that paper right off the bat. I also implemented something called copy testing, which is something I'm really looking forward to seeing here. I'm going to introduce something called the Taylor 6-segment strategy wheel, and this is based highly in persuasive messaging. So if you are in PR or you're in advertising, you will get an opportunity to be able to write copy in different fashions to try to persuade people towards a particular product or a service in this case. So copy testing will be 20%. The final project, I will ask to assess an advertising or PR campaign, and you'll see here the main premise of these is it's not a long paper here, 5 to 6 pages, 5 to 10 citations. But in this, you will see any attempts by persuasive message, and talk about any previous theories, which we will go over, weapons of influences, which is covered by Cialdini, or any segments of the strategy wheel to explain your argument, discussing the effectiveness of this message, and then by using the tools, any suggestions you would implement. I don't think this will be a terribly difficult assignment, but I do think it's one that will be very important for you to understand and be able to implement, as it kind of goes into not only the analysis part of it, but your genuine recommendations on it. Engagement and participation. So throughout the semester, I would say anywhere from, I'd probably go around 2 times a week. I will be posting questions up on As You Learn for you to answer. So the goal here is for you to be able to participate. And again, this will be the kind of thing not only for you posting, but also replying in a respectful manner. I don't want to see anybody writing any rude or language with ill intent. If you do, we will have a discussion between myself and the offender in this case. So please be respectful, even if you disagree in this case. But with this, you will be sharing your thoughts on the readings, how you've seen examples in your everyday life. These are points here. I don't really like focusing too much on point structure and grades and so forth, but as long as you're doing this, this is kind of an easy way to do pretty well in this class. So just make sure that you see the see the forums that will be posted. And my goal throughout the semester is for you to check this and be able to answer it by Friday. So like I said, I would probably do a schedule of like post one on Monday and then post one on Wednesday. But I do recognize that you've got work schedules, you might have other classes and so forth. So I will not necessarily be doing any kind of grade towards them until Friday. So just letting you know right off the bat there. So again, it's not a whole lot of grades here, but at the same time, we just don't have a whole lot of time to do this. And again, with the amount of students, we want to make sure that we have the best possible assignments that we can kind of gauge where we're starting to learn in this class. So you can look in terms of attendance. Honestly, like I said, be paying attention to the videos, watch them on your own accord here, and then be able to answer to the forums. Academic integrity, please let me know if there's anything I need to know in terms of disability services. Please just contact me, and contact me early so I have record of anything that I should know going into this class. Any religious observations, again, just please let me know early on. So with this, we're going to have a couple of different things here. You will have, like I said, you see the due dates here, the reflection papers. It's going to be basically everything is going to be due on, whoops, let me move that out of the way, is going to be due hold on. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. It's going to be due on Fridays at 11:59 p.m. with the exception of your final project being due at 12 p.m. Eastern. So just want to make sure that you know that going in, as that will be the only differentiation, and that's just because I need time to grade, because final grades will be due very quickly. So the way I structure this class is, like I said, I will be giving lectures throughout the week, and I do something that I like to call Theory Thursday, which basically goes into some of the theories that I have enjoyed or I thought have been really important to be able to talk about throughout the aspect of persuasion. And being able to talk about this, being able to bring in, again, the theoretical constructs to fuel your application is my goal for this class. So in my personal opinion, you really can't have all the tools for persuasion without some of this theory and being able to talk about it. So you can kind of read through what we'll be doing here and see when you need to kind of approach some of these chapters here, as this will run pretty consistently with the chapters. I might move over a couple of things. So like week 5 here is more of an interpersonal, intrapersonal, whereas week 4 is more of a mass comm influence. But at the same time, like I said, it's going to be pretty much thematic every week, and we'll follow along with Denton's Woodward and Denton's chapter, as well as Cialdini's. So if again you have any questions, please let me know. Oh, and I'll show you this real quick. Within the persuasion, as you learn, you will have an about you section that I will want you to fill in. And like I said, I think by next week we'll be fine. I see that one person has already added theirs. Thank you very much for doing that. And then your reflection paper. It's very simple, 2 to 3 pages, APA formatting, 5 to 10 sources. This is the area where I want you to define persuasion, coercion, and manipulation, and provide contrasting evidence of their definition, so of all 3 of these here, and then state why persuasion differs from the other 2. So in my experience of giving this assignment, and I really like doing this assignment, is providing multiple definitions and being able to research them is usually a good way to kind of be able to determine why persuasion differs from the other three. So being able to have this base is important in my opinion. So anyway, that is the basis for this course. Like I said, fill out the About You. The syllabus is right here. If you want to check anything in terms of the About Me, feel free. Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend. Happy July 4th. And again, I will give my next lecture on Tuesday, as when we'll be back, because July 4th is going to be observed on Monday. So we'll have 3 lectures instead of 4. But at the same time, just keep a lookout. I would probably check my As You Learn daily to make sure if there's any updates or anything. So hope you all have a great day, and I will talk to you next week. Thanks.